Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, buenos dias, ni hao, Newasgeno, Aquaba, what up, though? This is uh, the weekly meeting of our uNi village. And, okay, so the hour is 15:03, and this weekly meeting of our uNi village is 15:03. The hour is 15:03 on day 29 of month 12 of year 122 after the commencement of the Parliament of the World's Religions, 70 year 70 after the founding of the United Nations. It is day 2 of the week, day 13 of the full moon. And this meeting of our weekly meeting of our uNi village is officially called to order. We begin with a blessing. May all beings be well. We continue with a recitation of our mantra from our compact, the preamble of our compact. We, the sentient beings of our uNi village, observe the antiquated institutions and systems facilitating convention, and we believe we can do better. We recognize the historic and contemporary harm we cause each other, and we are dedicated to do better. We are dedicated to reconciliation. The wisdom of our ancestors, prophets, and sages tells us we do better by exercising compassion towards each other and all life. This begins by fundamentally respecting all beings, all life, all phenomena. And this continues through enhancing the wellness of all beings and all life steadfastly as universal citizens. We are better learning that when we do this, we also enhance our own respective individual oneness. Thus, we reconstruct our institutions and systems to be proficiently compassionate and transcendent. This includes our institutions and systems of religion, government, education, health, finance, commerce, socialization, and additionally. We fundamentally challenge previous precepts, theories, laws, and methodologies of selfishness. We declare a new age of compassion, and whilst our new institutions and systems supplant the antiquated institutions and systems, we facilitate this process with maximum peace, humility, stability, efficiency, and compassion. We practice wealth ethos, including ahimsa, ubuntu, veritas, haya, shu, maka, huga, samadhi, shema, shubono, nara. The proceeding text is provided for this purpose. Love and peace. So, for attendance, Peter Johansson Osisi is on the books. All right, and there's an absence of any emergency or urgency propositions. The minutes from the previous meeting. The meeting is convened a week ago. The meeting commences at hour 13:07 Eastern Standard Zone on day 22 of month 12 of year 122 after the commencement of the Parliament of the World's Religions, year 70 after the founding of the United Nations, day 2 of the week, and day 6 of the full moon. Blessing is read, mantra is read. Peter Johansson Osisi is on the book for attendance. Absence of emergency and urgent propositions. Minutes read, agenda read. All business includes vote of co-op update, independent media update, socialist activist update, intention of going to revolution books, update regarding next door, update regarding village conditions, and update regarding William Kavitskahek. New business includes social networking platform, the change with that. Announcements includes Juma, Shabbat, Sunday worship. Benevolent news, I sing Kumbaya, as well as This Little Light of Mine. And the benediction is recited, and the meeting is concluded at 13:41 Eastern Standard Zone. All right. So on the agenda for today, update regarding a vote of co-op, International Day of Peace update, solar power update, and our next door conversation, discussion forum, village experience here in our uNi village, update regarding Wowian Kibikahik, a global federation of villages. New business includes jiu-jitsu, a vegan health clinic, and water supply. So, that's it. Old business. So for our vote of co-op, that's actually what a significant factor that prompts the delay of this meeting, a couple hours. Another item is socialist, activist, independent media update. Co-ops, independent media update. All right, so vote of co-op. We meet. I meet with our friend Keith, who is the other lifetime member of our vote of co-op. We have a productive conversation, an extended conversation. It's a number of weeks since we meet in person. We make some decisions, basically changing how purchases are made. Basically, at this point, instead of any money being given to our vote of co-op, what we do is for those who are interested in making a purchasing a bulk order for our vote of co-op to contribute to our inventory, we confirm the terms for that purchase, basically how much it costs to directly work with the supplier, and then how many co-op credits we're willing to provide in exchange for those products from the purchaser. And then upon those terms being confirmed, we give that individual or group, the purchaser, our information, our wholesale account information with the supplier when available and appropriate, so that the purchaser can make the purchase directly with the supplier and have it delivered to us. And then we record the credits. We issue the credits to the purchaser. That's basically how we're rolling at this point. That's one decision we make. The other decision is regarding our mandate, our creed, our mantra, our mission statement. We finalized that, and actually I can read that, or I should say we finalized our rendering of it, and this is it. Vote of co-op. We are a cooperative that offers food and additional products that are fair trade and vegan and preferably organic. Our purpose is to strengthen the well-being of, as well as our relationships in harmony with the beings, the life, and the natural elements that nourish and sustain ourselves. We recognize wealth ethos, a global ethic that facilitates this cooperation. So at this point, the intention again is connecting with local groups, particularly vegan groups, social justice groups, and maybe additionally, and start cultivating awareness and governing participation within our vote of co-op. So that's part of the work in progress. I also have some accounting to do because there are some transactions that are made. So to such an extent that it's appropriate to start keeping track of it. So that's an update regarding a vote of co-op. Regarding International Day of Peace, I communicated the intention on our next door, our meaning the forum that we're participating in, social networking website, and there's some interest communicated for involvement and support. So that's encouraging, and so that's positive. I'm going to skip ahead actually a little bit to the next item, which is uNi Village Experience. So along those lines also, I continue to go out, I continue to hang out in front of this building, chop it up, and go over to the bench as well as to the steps, and additionally, and meet with friends and build relationships, strengthen relationships of neighbors in this area. So it's getting there. I mean, it's progressing, it's improving, and that's appreciated. There's an additional amount of interaction, there's additional amount of rapport and conversation. So that is appreciated. I'm playing the drum. There's an increased amount of even harmony and coexistence and mutual respect amidst the playing of the drum. So all of that is appreciated. So that's pretty much the update. The idea of the International Day of Peace is kind of building from that as well, with the intention of hanging out that afternoon in about 3 weeks and distributing either some written material like flyers or something that has the World Peace Prayer or something on it, or something that has something to do with the United Nations and peace or something like that. That's what's happening at the moment. So next item is solar power study buddies. So continuing in this topic of the Nextdoor forum, we discuss renewable energy and just the parameters of that. At this point, amidst recent communication, there's an increased awareness that there are actually very few options for renewable energy, at least through the grid. So one consideration at the moment is identifying what the capacity and the cost is of renewable energy, but particularly solar energy, and what it would take to retrofit or to supply an apartment building with solar power. What the cost would be, what the capacity is, if it's possible, if it's feasible, given the amount of sunlight we receive here on an annual basis here in our Cuyahoga area. And then what the cost is, what the feasibility is, and what a method of implementation may be. There's not a lot of information. There is a lot of information available. It requires some deciphering and translation and kind of decoding. So one consideration is continuing in our Nextdoor conversation and soliciting whether any of the people who talk about renewable energy are interested in becoming study buddies and doing the research on what is available in terms of solar power, particularly just for a building, for an apartment building, or maybe for a group of apartment buildings, if that's what's appropriate. So that's another item on the to-do list or in works. So there's that. Next item, William Kavik. So I attended the meeting again this past week, and it goes over much of the same material. One thing that is discussed in our previous meetings here in our uNi Village, again, independent media, socialist activists, the Trust Compact, uNi Village Brief, and I also mentioned as a new business, live stream, YouTube, as well as a social networking platform. I guess I have yet to mention it in our forum for our uNi Village, but there's an intention of changing. At the moment, uNi Village has a Facebook page, group page, with very modest activity, and I post very little on there. I think I post the meetings occasionally. Other than that, there's little discussion. So that being said, there's the intention amidst other things in which I am personally involved in, and which our uNi Village is involved in, either directly or indirectly. There's consideration of moving the conversation to another social networking platform, and a number of options are being identified. Major ones or prominent ones at the moment that are being considered include Ning, as well as Spruze, S-P-R-U-Z or O-Z, I think it's S-P-R-U-Z. So actually, there's a leaning towards Spruze based on recommendations, as well as service options. So that's in the works as well. It's intended as a gradual progression, and it's something in the works for the next few weeks or so to consider and implement if decided. So that is another item update for this past week. Another item, and that's pretty much what's available on. Oh, the flag. So just quiet as cut. Our Global Federation of Villages has a tentative flag to represent itself. I abstain from sharing the actual image or appearance of the flag at the moment because it has yet to be officially shared within the forum of our Wobium Committee, of our Global Federation of Villages. So amidst that being done, God willing, the intention is doing so here as well. So that's another update regarding our Wobium Committee. On to new business. One is jujitsu. The idea is basically very simple. Talking with a jujitsu instructor, a local jujitsu instructor. One, jujitsu being the martial art wherein there's an absence or a minimization of striking, offensive strikes, and instead it's a matter of defensive mechanisms and maneuvers and grappling to subdue and neutralize and subdue an aggressor, a violent aggressor. So it very much conforms and coincides with our principles of ahimsa, abstinence from violence, and the discipline and the protocols involved in maintaining security and safety of our residents and our families and friends. So the idea is basically very simple: talking with a local jujitsu instructor, and making arrangements, seeing if we can utilize the space within the our local UU church, based on one block over. Basically using like the multi-purpose room or something like that as a space in which to do the lessons. And then inviting young men, specifically, from the neighborhood, from the extending area, from around the vicinity, to learn jiu-jitsu. And that's it. There's idea of doing something increasingly citizen-based to get a sense of community and translate the presence, the physical presence and safety of the men and training of the young men into the general safety experience of safety here within our village. It's other than a quid pro quo or a prerequisite to commit to such provision of service, but there's that consideration. Also, recently, the idea is shared. Well, actually, part of our uNi village involves the establishment of an independent hospital or health clinic, hospital effectively, but a very basic hospital with like a very, I know there are levels of trauma centers, but a very basic trauma center service treatment. But anyways, so that's something that's established for a while, for a number of years, with previous development of and progression of our uNi village. All that being said, the recent idea that is shared is for such a hospital or clinic to actually be vegan. And by what that means is to abstain from utilizing medicine, drugs, or even methodologies and techniques that are gleaned through the torture and killing of animals, through the testing of animals. Even the dissection training that med students and biology students maintain through such education. So obviously much of that has yet to be established at all, for the most part, although there are some instances of it here and there in a conventional manner. But the idea is drawing from individuals and knowledge and practices that do this, and culminating, assembling that into an actual clinic, a health center, a hospital that utilizes this. This includes a very major presence and involvement of Ayurvedic healing, as well as East Asian healing, African healing methodologies and medicines, as well as native healing and medicines, homeopathy, perhaps even midwives, and additional even Western healers that utilize vegan methodologies. That's the idea for a hospital in the long term. Again, providing the basic needs of the community with basic trauma treatment as well for common injuries and experiences, ailments, but otherwise predominantly existing as a preemptory facility rather than a responsive facility. So again, the nature of the healing done in terms of like the medicines, the ailments that are addressed may be different from many conventional hospitals, but again, the emphasis is on prevention and encouraging lifestyles of prevention. So a big part of this idea is keeping it small and keeping it immediate, recognizing that a hospital is a huge endeavor, and many people spend a lifetime just putting a hospital together and running a hospital. So the idea at the moment is simply just to do it, to be what we talk about. And so the idea is identifying and communicating, reaching out to, and talking with healers in each of these fields, in each of these traditions. Ayurvedic, Asian, African, Native, unconventional, homeopathic, and additionally, predominantly vegan as well. So that's the idea, is starting a clinic, quote unquote. And even before starting a clinic, or having that clinic at least initially exist just as like a weekly forum where a healer comes and talks to whoever's interested about tips, about recommendations, about remedies for ailments. And so the idea is again, arranging with local healers to visit here at the ashram, Asana Ashram, and offer a class, basically, a talk, a gathering, to host a gathering or to speak at a gathering, and invite people in the vicinity, in neighbors, as well as people who visit the Coventry Strip, Coventry Road, to attend the gathering. Doing it on a weekly basis, having a different presenter, healer each week, such that by after a few months, a number of different healers are presented, and there's increasingly an experience of community, to such an extent that we might have like a monthly clinic where a collective of healers visits and provides consultation. Maybe people pay a fee or make a contribution to our votive co-op or something to participate in that health clinic, that health fair, to learn simple alternative remedies for simple ailments, and getting recommendations, links, references to medicinal companies, and additionally. So that's the idea with our vegan health clinic. So there's that. Additional item. Oh, this is an item of old business. To backtrack a little bit, it's listed late, so that's why I miss it. Socialist activists, independent media, as well as co-ops. What's the update on that? There's little. I actually began research earlier today, but I get enveloped in the work of our votive co-op, so I'm precluded from completing or having tangible results to share at the moment on any of those fronts. For the most part, I actually considered doing that research before convening this meeting, but recognizing that it's already those hours late, my consideration is to just do the meeting and provide the any additional research information updates at a later point, God willing. So that's the update regarding that. So on to new business. The next item of new business, water supply. So along the lines of fair trade and renewable energy, the idea also is making sure that the provision of our water is healthy, and particularly that the people who provide our welfare are provided with sufficient care. So I make some strides to that effect. I identified that the city of Cleveland is the provider of the water. I presume that the city of Cleveland has stewardship over the facilities that provide the water and that initiate, quote unquote, recognizing that where does the water initiate from it ultimately, but initiates the flow of water or whatever into our infrastructure and our residences. So I call and ask about the well-being of people. Obviously, it's a strange question coming from out of the blue. So there's hesitancy and a lack of response. Although as I'm falling asleep, I can imagine the people. Anyway, yeah, I need to wake up. So, anyways, I make the call. There's a modest amount of information that is shared. There's a lot of guardedness and like suspicion about who's this cat calling, whatever else. But that being said, there's an absence of any urgency communicated or emergency communicated. So the absence of anything can be considered as a positive. So that is up there regarding that, and that's all. That's new business, and that's all the items on the agenda for old business and new business. Which brings us to announcements for this week. Upcoming include Amavasya within Hinduism, which is the commemoration of the new moon, as well as Upasada, again, commemoration of the new moon within Buddhism. Rosh Chodesh, which is the new month, the new moon, as well as Juma, the Friday prayer in Islam. Rosh Chodesh is Judaism. And then there's Shabbat within Judaism, and there's Sunday worship within Christianity. I'm rubbing my eyes as I do that. So, fatigue. Those are the announcements in terms of religious observance for the upcoming week. I mean, just as a point of note, within the Baha'i faith, the feast day is coming up, but it's not until after a week from this point. So, there it is. That brings us to benevolent news, which is where I sing again. And again, I'm singing Kumbaya and this little light of mine. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's praying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Someone's praying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Someone's praying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. All right, here's a pick me up. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This renewable energy of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This renewable energy of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This renewable energy of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, yeah. I'm going to throw one additional one in there. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the West has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. I think it's about an hour for me to take a nap or take a break. It's been a busy day. So benediction. May all beings be well. And the hour is 15:34. On this day, 19 of month 12 of year 722, after the commencement of the Parliament of the World's Religions, year 70 after the founding of the United Nations, the 12th day of the week, and day numero 13 of the full moon. And this meeting of our this meeting of our uNi village is officially commenced, adjourned, concluded. Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, adios, zaijen, one, nebuskeno, aquaba, what up, though? Asamodwo, love and peace.